All right, YouTube, we're back here for round number 3. Let's reveal our Luris. All right, 1 land. Thoughtseize Inquisition Bolts. We have visions if we miss on land drops too. I'm just gonna keep it. Hand's a little risky, but only 3 losses were to it. Also beat it once. Played against it 4 times. Were there really that many people playing Niv? It's kind of crazy. Like, doesn't Niv just kind of get dumpstered by Heliod? Set Roulette was interesting. I was X2. Well, I was X1, 3-1. Lost round 5 and thought I was dead because I didn't think there were X2s that were going to make it, so I dropped. And there ended up being 2 X2s that made it, and I looked after the event, and I had the second best breakers of the X2, so I probably had to win it in round 6 if I didn't drop, but didn't realize that there were X2s that were going to make it. I should have looked at the standings before I dropped. Yeah, I should have just checked standings. Just the old 11th place going into the last round, playing a win-in, drop. No big deal. Ooh. I'll take this. Okay, this needs to be a screenshot for Twitter. Hold on, chat. This is too good. This is just too good. Just that. That's it. I'll erase my opponent's name because I don't want to embarrass them, but... By borders... It's Inquisition first. Just gonna take the 1 mana card. Oh, I played the wrong fetch. It's probably not going to matter because I don't think I'm ever fetching basics in this matchup, but... I just want to find a threat. Like, Drown's not a bad card, but I just need to find a threat, I think. Like, I have Luris, but... I guess I'm Lurising. I got nothing else to do. You gotta love our opponent's mana base, though. Gotta love our opponent's mana base. They can't produce... They can't produce blue or black mana, for that matter. Uh-oh, what happened? My F keys weren't working there for a second. I mean, am I just running the Luris out there? I kind of don't want to, because then they just kill it if they draw a black source, and I can't stub it, because they'll have a mana up. I'm just going to pass. Feels kind of bad, but... It's like, they're stumbling, but I can't punish them, because my deck just doesn't have that many threats. Okay, well, now we can punish them. Okay, guess this. That was a good draw. Your go. If they cast Path to Exile, I'm actually just going to push my own Shadow response. Okay. Attack you. Let's get the last shock. 4 life. And I guess now I can play the Luris, because the Luris is safe. Safe as in we can protect it with stub, so. Well, that was an interesting game. I mean, they mulliganed to 5, so it's not as interesting as it would have been, but you gotta love the mana base. So I think we're gonna do something very similar to our last round opponent, which was this for just a nice clean 8 for 8. I do like the sideboarding. It's pretty clean. And I don't really want... I mean, I guess I could consider Nihil Spellbomb, because the Esper decks sometimes have Snapcaster Mage, or they did show a Snapcaster Mage. So is anything in this deck worse than Nihil Spellbomb? That's what we have to ask ourselves. How many things do they have for Disdainful Stroke? They have Cryptics and Teferis, right? It's probably enough. Delvers for Sprite Dragons. The issue, Hoppa, with that is you run into the same problem before where you don't get to curve into Scourge as often. Nihil does kill Drown. That's true. Yeah, I guess that's a good point. Maybe I don't want it. So that's like the big trade-off, right? Is you have to figure out a way that you can make Scourge good, but also still have a reasonable curve, you know? Like this hand, for example. I mean, I think this hand's just bad in general, but we have obviously no early pressure. Like, it's going to be hard to convert this stub, because we don't even have a ton of ways to deal ourselves damage. And the Drown's pretty bad. I think Drown of the Lock is actually just not a good card in this deck. Okay, this hand's better. Ship the Bolt or the Drown? Probably just ship the Bolts, I think. Like, Drown's okay in this hand because we could potentially trade resources and maybe get something out of Drown later in the game. But I think in general, I'm not a huge fan of Drown in the Lock in this deck. I just want to play some Kolaghan's Command main deck. They're choosing not to play Opt on turn 1, which is very interesting. Given that they have enough land drops, I'm just going to take Snapcaster Mage. We've only said every single blue card to sketch. So this is their hand. I think I'm just going to be mana efficient and brutality them. Because then I can just take the Kai'Scowl. They're probably going to cast Opts. Duress you. And then that way, next turn, if I draw land... Thoughtseize Bug, huh? That's unfortunate. I'm still going to take Guile, I think. Now if I draw a land next turn, I can Thoughtseize, Shadow, and hold up Stub, which is nice. 12. I think it has to be a fetch land. Or I guess it could be a shock. Alright, Opt Plains down. 14. I guess I'm just going to cast a bunch of discard spells. See what they do. They're probably going to lead on Snap. Mana Leak. That's fine. Now I can just Thoughtseize the Snap. And they're down to 2 lands, which is good. I want to find a land next turn so I can Shadow with Stub and Drown up. Just play 2 threats. If I play 2 threats, what happens if they drew like a Teferi? It's not that bad for me, right? Yeah, I'm just gonna play 2 threats. You think Visions is the one card that seems fine? Yeah, that card's like, it's just, Visions is so medium, you know? What's up, Kaboom? How you doing today, buddy? It's a good draw step. Mario with the 2 months. Thank you so much for the 2 months, buddy. Congrats on the Pizza Q top 8 yesterday again. So, okay. I'm going to Luris here. I'm just trying to think of how much damage I want to take. I'm just going to shock. I think shocking is fine. Yeah, they charmed. It's a pretty good draw step for them. Better than just the removal spell, obviously. How's Grixis been performing? I mean, it's felt decent so far. The blue cards don't seem particularly great. Like, the blue cards have moments of brilliance that when they're good, they're just so unique. You know, like, Jund doesn't have access to a card like Stub, you know? The cards that you play in Jund don't really accomplish what Step does, so... When they're good, they're good. For sure. Bauble was a nice find. Kaya's Guile. Ugh. That's so bad for me. Because now I just can't do anything, right? I have to hold up Drown for it. Like, if I play Luris Bauble, they just untap and kick the Kaya's Guile, and it's a disaster. So I think I just have to say go. I mean, the issue with saying go is they're going to have a 3-2. We don't have much time to fight. I mean, if we just find a bolt, then we're good, but... Yeah. It's not good either way. I could, like, wait to see if I find a bolt, or if I just draw 2 lands in a row, then I could Luris with Drown Up. So I draw land, go to 5, play land. That doesn't work, because then I just go to 2, and then I end up having to kill the Delver anyways. I'm just going to pass. At least this turn. I need to find a bolt. That's not going to do it. Well, yeah, they're not going to fire it off. They're just going to pass. They're 100% just going to pass here. There's no reason for them to fire it off now. Well... This actually is not bad for us. I'm going to upkeep Drown the Delver, and I'm going to hope that they don't draw land. I think that's how I win this game. Or they just go for it now. But they obviously wouldn't just go for it now. Maybe upkeep was worse, because they're more likely to fire it off on my end step. Alright, pass. And they didn't find a land, which is good. And they're not just going to jam it now, right? Gardex, thank you for the follow. Maybe they're going to play around Stub and just jam 3 mana Kaya's Guile, which would make sense. Which I'm still just going to drown. If their last card was a Mana Leak, it's bad for me, but... They're not playing lands, which leads me to believe that there's a good chance they found a counterspell. Do I want to play around a counterspell? I think I want to wait one more turn. I could also just draw a discard spell, which would be really, really helpful. Is Vexing Devil too much of a meme in the Grixis Shadow? I think it would be, yeah. I don't think you want a card like Devil. Alright. I think I'm going to pass one more turn. I want to find a discard spell, preferably. And land's not a bad draw either, because then I can Luris Bauble with Stroke Up. But preferably draw, like, a Thoughtseize or an Inquisition. It's not bad, I guess. Okay, top, bottom, pass. You don't think Stroke is playable in Modern? I mean, there are some matchups where it's okay. Like, it's good against Titan, and I think there are enough targets in this deck for it to be fine. Let's see what's going on over there. I imagine it's probably not great for us, because, again, they haven't been playing lands, so... They have Shark Typhoon? Well, that's really bad for me. Okay. Can't do anything about it. Right. They have 2 verdicts. Alright. You can go. I think I've seen enough. Alright, game 3. It's a lot of Kai's, I will say that. I still don't really want the spell bombs. I guess what I could do is just have spell bomb instead of Drawn in the lock. Because if I'm bringing spell bomb, it makes Drawn more awkward. Or I could just cut stroke. Maybe I just want to cut stroke, actually. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't think they have enough targets for stroke. The more I think about it. Stroke is good versus Tron, but there are also other cards that you can play against Tron, you know? Like, if you're specifically worried about Tron. Oh, this hand's cracked. Just gonna get Watery Grave and jam Delverino. It's the Aghanim worth. I think the Aghanim is... The first Aghanims is fine, I think. Especially if you're going to play Delver of Secrets, because you have to think, Aghanims is a land that flips Delver, you know? Rude. Let's actually get Blood Crypt here. What you got? God, their hand's always so good. Alright, I'll take Snap. I don't think I can afford to take Push there. Just, like, have to be okay with them trading 1-for-1 and just counter their 2-for-1s. Which I should be able to do, but... I think they're going to main phase Esper Charm. I don't think they're going to main phase Esper Charm. That'd be such a bold move. When I could just, like, play a threat and have stub up the turn after. I don't think there's any way they main phase it. It would be kind of crazy if they did. Okay. So I do kind of need to keep stub up, so I can't really Luris Delver. So let's just go Spellbomb, Tarn, pass. If they cast Charm here, I'm just going to snap stub it. Again, just counter their 2-for-1s. If you can keep the game about 1-for-1s, then you should be fine. They have 3 cards, one of which is a Purge. I'm just going to cycle the Spellbomb now, I think. Yeah, I'm just going to cycle. I actually don't mind drawing a land. So I think I'm not going to crack the fetch here. Alright, Brutality's good, so now we can just duress them. Again, we're just trying to clear the way for this Luris. Alright. Yep, again, just take the 2-for-1. So they have a Purge and a Mystic Gate. Okay, go. And now the way is largely cleared for Luris. I mean, they're going to get to Purge it, but we should get a 2-for-1 out of it, so it might be fine. What did they do with the opt? Let me just check here. Curious. They bottomed. So they purged 1 unknown. I think I would rather have the Scourge get purged than the Luris. It's kind of close, though. Because Luris allows me to double spell. It's kind of tough. Because whatever threat I play this turn, they're just going to purge. Scourge also lets me keep up Dispute, which could potentially be relevant if they find, like, it's a fairy or something along those lines. Yeah, I'm kind of surprised they didn't Guile in response to Brutality. Alright, I'm going to cast Scourge. They drew a Mana Leak. Spell Snare. I'm surprised they kept that in. I don't have that many targets for it. Sure. So we still know the last card is Purge. Has Delver plus Stub come up? What do you mean? Like, in what way? In the sense of Delver not turning on Stub? Yeah, it's come up a couple times. They have a Verdict. That's also really bad for me. Alright. Go. I mean, I kind of have to power through this Verdict at some point, so I think now is my time. Now is the time. Knowing that they have Verdict, if this resolves, I'm actually just going to cast Spell Bomb. Because, like, if I cast Delver, they're obviously just going to Verdict anyways, so I get a free card at the Luris this way. Unless they drew a removal spell, which would suck. Oh my god. They drew Snapcaster Mage. Well, that's actual worst possible. Man, their draws have been really good. Like, every time we've Thoughtseized them, it feels like they've drawn perfects right after the Thoughtseize. Which, I mean, that's going to happen, but it's just, like, kind of frustrating when it does. Because I feel like these are games that we should be winning, you know? Where they're, like, we whittle them down to nothing and they just, like, draw best possible, you know? Where they could just brick for a turn, but they're not. It is what it is. Okay. I see you've started to run into my opponents, yeah. They probably drew another Kai's Guile, too. Want to bet? You want to bet they drew another Guile? I'll take odds. Absolutely not. Oh, I should have left up the Steam Vents, yeah. I should have left up Steam Vents instead. For sure. The Steam Vents was just a free roll. What's up, Giggy? Ooh, they finally drew a card that isn't perfect, huh? What's it like? So the last card's Verdict. So I can Thoughtseize the Verdict. What's the best way to play this? Thoughtseize the Verdict and just kill both their creatures? What if I just don't kill the Spirit? Because I have to Thoughtseize the Verdict, right? That's like first and foremost. So I go to 2. And then let's say I Thoughtseize Drown Bolt. They take 4, go to 12, and I have an 8/8. You think attack first? Yeah, I guess there's a good chance they chump block, right? Because they think that they might have to cast Verdict next turn. Yeah, that's actually probably a good point. I think I like that. That makes a lot more sense. I think attacking first is best. And they chose not to block. Okay. 13. What if I bolt them? No, then I just lose, right? If I bolt them to 13, they take 7, go to 6. Then I Thoughtseize the Verdict and I kill the Snapcaster Mage, and I'm at 2 versus a 1/1 Spirit. Yeah, this is the winning list of the weekend. I think bolting them is a little too aggressive. I'm just gonna let them take 4. So we'll take Verdict. I don't know if I want to go to 1 here. The problem with going to 1 is if they draw a counterspell, I'm kind of messed up, right? Because this isn't lethal next turn is the issue. So I'm gonna do this. Black, blue. And I'm just gonna bolt now. There I go. You like bolting opponent in combat and just killing the Snapcaster Mage going to 1? I don't know. I feel like that's worse. Attack for 8. What are the advantages of bolting and leaving the 1/1 in play? Or I guess, like, what are the disadvantages? Like, what do we end up losing to if we take that line? It's a land. They have another land. What you got? Maybe have Cryptic. Now they can play around Dispute. They're forced to chump regardless. Well, what if they draw a counterspell? Oh, but I guess if they draw a counterspell, the Scourge is lethal. True. Okay. So I just dispute this? Because if I don't dispute this, they play... If they eliminate, I can't dispute that. And if they verdict, I also can't dispute that. So disputing forces them to cast Eliminate. Right? Although I think they might want to cast Eliminate anyways. Right, yeah. I honestly, it might have just been better for me to not dispute and force it and just, like, give them the option to mess up. Because I think them verdicting is actually better for me. Okay. So now we just pass. I don't think I want to attack. Well, if I attack, I just lose to a removal spell, right? Whereas I think I could beat a removal spell this way. It at least gives me more draw steps. Well, they die to a flip. Oh, if they don't block. Yeah, but... I don't know. Then I just lose to a removal spell? Is that good? Like, are you assuming that we can't beat a removal spell anyways? Because I don't know if that's true. Because I feel like there's a world where we can beat a removal spell if they block. Or if they don't block. Oh, wait, no, if they block, yeah. So they're minusing. Oh, so we can just kill Tef now. Or we can just win if we flip. Obviously. Because I assume their last card's a blank, right? Okay. So this is 3rd from the top, so it's not quite there. I think I still want to cycle this now. Let's do this. There's a shadow on top. Okay, go. The brutality's already gone. Sheesh. Okay. There's a shadow on top. I still think I want to draw a shadow. I might just play 2 threats, right? They have 1 card. Yeah, I'm just going to draw Shadow. And I get to hold the Delta to shuffle with the, or scry with the Delver. Fat Clouds for JMSXO. Okay. What is on top? Stubborn Denial. I will reveal it. The question is, do I want to draw it? It kind of feels like they have Verdict here, right? Well, I can hit OK. And if they let me draw it... Huh. So I guess they have to have Verdict here? Maybe I wasn't supposed to draw that. They just died. Yeah, so the reason I didn't shuffle there, because if I shuffle, right? If I shuffle the stub away, they then cast the Cryptic in my upkeep. Well, I guess they just do it anyways, right? But I wanted to pass priority back to them to see if they cast Cryptic. Oh, right, they have Tef, right. Yeah, okay. So, yeah, definitely, I should have shuffled away the stub. I forgot about the Tef. That was a long game, and a lot of things were... That was a crazy game. Yeah, maybe I could have done a couple of things differently. Definitely should have shuffled this away. I'm trying to think the turn that... The turn in question where I didn't bolt them. I want to go back and watch that, because I think that was close. Maybe I should have bolted them. But yeah, sweet game either way. If you're watching on YouTube, like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next round.